Hey everyone, how you going? Look, I just want to start by saying how shattered I am that we didn't get to do this in person, um, and that we didn't get to have the question time and feedback that makes these conversations really special. So, if the following stirs anything in you that you have questions about, or you want to explore anything further, or you just want to share how you felt about it, please reach out. Socials, my phone number, email, whatever. Just shoot us a text and we'll be all good. We can have a chat. So, what I want to talk about today, it's a pretty simple question, really. What do you want to be known for? Now, I'm not talking about a job title. I'm not talking about your business description. I'm not talking about the lines that you rehearse in the car or the shower that sound really spot on. I mean that when people say your name, what do you hope they feel? What do you wish they saw? Because most of us, we never say that out loud. And look, just so we're really clear from the start, this this little chat today, this recording, it's not a lesson in strategy. I'm not here to pitch you. I'm not going to teach you how to show up organically online. I am not going to, this is not about pitching, not about selling, not about funnels or branding or post this many times a week. This is not about perfect messaging. This is about something deeper. I firmly believe that you have everything inside of you that you need to make yourself huge. Not louder, not shinier, just more, bigger you. Now, you know that moment. You know the moment. Every meeting, every workshop, every networking event. Last Tuesday at Small Biz Big Chat, someone inevitably says, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. Um, okay. So what I really like to do, or yeah, I kind of coach some people sometimes. I really like, I'm qualified in all of this stuff and I like to use it to help women do um so I do some stuff in the this space and I do some stuff in the this space and I get it. I get it. It's a way bigger question than I think that we even give ourselves credit for. And the default response that I see time and time again is safe and small. Either safety in the vague and the generic, or safety in the details and the really drilled down specific, but freezing in the question, and more often than not, never actually saying what we mean. We have been trained that smallness is safety. We know the rules we were handed. Don't be too loud. Don't take up too much space. Don't make people uncomfortable. We know what it's like to feel too much, to feel not enough. And today, we're not going to harp on the hard. We get it. We live it. It is our everyday life as women in business. What we are going to do today is celebrate the joy in coming through it. Because the strongest, most rebellious thing that you can do is take up space unapologetically. Walk into a room without shrinking. Speak without checking it's okay. Exist without permission. We're told to soften, to make ourselves dim, to make ourselves palatable. And quite often we confuse being more palatable with being more professional or humble or kind. Shrinking isn't humility, it is erasure. I'm going to tell you a little story now about someone we'll call, oh, let's pull a name out. Let's just call this person Jess. Oh. Random name I've just pulled out of nowhere. Now, for a long time, everything looked like it was working out for Jess. She had a job that everyone wanted, not just in the entertainment industry, but helping orchestrate it. She was one of the ones behind the scenes, making sure that other people got seen and heard and celebrated. Big crowds, big names, big energy, big problems. Jess thrived on it. She lit other people up. She was the calm in the chaos. She could fix a problem with a headset and a text message. Boom. Funny, self deprecating, always, always on. In early 2020, Jess ran what ended up being the last live event in Melbourne, Australia for almost 2 years. It was a sold out 12,000 person spectacle. It was New Order, just that, that little band, And the world was already starting to lock down. We had cameras everywhere. We had celebrities. It was media, the full circus. There was this post-apocalyptic buzz in the air, and the world was shifting. But inside those gates, Jess was alive because crisis made her busy, and being busy made her feel important. And if she was important, maybe no one would notice that she was exhausted or lost or too scared to stop. Then the lights went out. Literally. Venues closed, borders shut. Melbourne entered 18 months of lockdown, one of the longest in the world, with no more green rooms or run sheets, with no job title, no adrenaline, no urgent problems to solve. There was just Jess, alone in a quiet apartment. And in that stillness, she came face to face with the question that she had spent years avoiding. If I'm not known for my job, what do I want to be known for? She was terrified, terrified. And something shifted. She looked around that small apartment and saw them. Saw some fairy lights draped on a mirror. She'd always talked about being sparkly, but sparkly isn't the same as being switched on. She realized that all those years she'd thought that dimming herself helped others shine. Actually, the brighter she got, the more others could plug into her. Her energy, it wasn't a spotlight, it was a source. And to be that source, she had to go first. She had to be the one that plugged herself in. Now, Jess isn't trying to be smaller anymore. She makes space for others. She takes up space. She leads with her energy. She owns her weird, her wisdom, her wattage. She's not in the background anymore. She's the PowerPoint. And when Jess is fully plugged in, lit up, real and unapologetic, something wild happens. Other people find their plug too. It's this mythical Jess we speak of. She's no longer just known for what she does. She's known for who she is. And that is everything. Now, taking up space isn't just about being loud, isn't about being everywhere. It's not even about becoming a brand. Taking up space is about alignment between what you believe, what you say, and how you live. Visibility isn't the goal here, it's the result. It is the natural byproduct of integrity. It happens that when you stop hiding, you become visible without even trying. So let me just hark back to the beginning here. How do you introduce yourself? What is that line that you reach for? That line that you've rehearsed in the car, in the shower, that makes you feel good, but maybe doesn't say what you mean or mean what you say? What do you actually want to say? What do you want to say that you're not? Here is my invitation. Say it. Say it loudly, say it quietly, write it down, burn it. Don't do it at all. Just simple invitation. I want to be known for whatever came up, whatever you stopped yourself saying out loud, whatever that first little glimmer of a speck of a thought was. That's where we build the truth from. Now, a lot of the times when I am working with clients, I use a tool called a tool called the Cartesian quadrant. Now, most of us ask, what would happen if I do the thing? Right? We ask that question all the time. Oh, lost my necktie. We're not going to stop and re-record. We're just going to keep going. So most of us ask, what will happen if I do the thing? So let's think about the thing here being take up space. Now, if we're only asking what would happen if I take up space, we only get one answer here. And most of our resistance, and when I say resistance, I mean our fear, self-doubt, old beliefs, the things that stop us from saying what we mean and meaning what we say, that lives in the angles that we don't often look at. So I've got 4 questions for you here. Now, with these questions, I'm going to use take up space as an example. You can use whatever question that you have, but have it be something that's stopping you or something that you're milling on. So first of all, what would happen if I did take up space? Good and bad. Think about it, write it down. What would happen if I didn't take up space? Again, mull it over, say them out loud. What would happen? No, sorry, what wouldn't happen if I did take up space? Good and bad. What wouldn't happen if I didn't take up space? Good and bad. Now, these questions are designed to bypass your logical mind and access your unconscious truth. Confusion always happens before a breakthrough. If this is confusing, brilliant. Brilliant. When we confound the conscious mind, we create space for a breakthrough because we don't act on logic. We act on belief. And belief in your unconscious, in the stories that you've inherited, in the stories that you've rehearsed, in the stories that you believe are you. This is where our belief stems from. You might be wondering why instead of giving you a cute bio or running through my CV or telling you certain things at the beginning of this, I told you a story essentially about fairy lights. It's because our stories, they bypass that resistance. So our brains are wired for metaphor. It activates the emotional center of our brain. It bypasses logic and it gets past your inner critic. So by me telling you a story about this made up person called Jess, who had a bit of a massive conscious of, crisis of self, it bypassed your logical brain and got you thinking about your own, the way that you react in situations, the way that you dim your light and maybe aren't as plugged in as you want to be. Your story is what runs the show when it comes to you, not your strategy. So I'm going to ask one last time. I'm going to ask you a question. And for this, I would love you to close your eyes and picture yourself walking into a room. No shrinking, no fixing, no rehearsing. Walking into a room in a situation where you're going to be asked to talk about you, whether it is a networking situation, whether it is a class that you've been too nervous to go to, whether it is a pitch for your business, whatever the case may be. Just be fully. That version of you with no apologies, no shrinking, no fixing. She already exists. You don't need to earn her. You don't need to prove anything to her. You just have to keep choosing her. So, one last time, what do you want to be known for? Now, this is where we would have the other day ended and gone into questions. And, I would have been stealing little bits of the intro you did in the room. But because we are separated by time and space, I understand that getting into a situation where you're envisioning this ideal version of yourself isn't easy. It is something that I struggle with immensely. I am a highly strung Capricorn, and letting go of my conscience and letting go of the thousands of stories that I'm constantly running is something that I have had to work really hard on. So if you were struggling to get into that situation where you could see yourself fully confident, fully whole, walking into this room and owning it and taking up space, I am going to, it's a little woo woo. So if you're not into it, don't worry about it. But if you are curious, this is a process that I learned from one of my mentors, and I use it on myself a lot. I use it with clients a lot, especially when we are oddly discussing strategy and what's stopping them achieve the things they want to do. So, what I will do here is I'll get you to grab a pen and paper so you can pause this while you go and do that. And then as we go through this process, I'm going to stop for about 30 seconds in between every question. If you're finding that you need more time, please pause, come back to this. Please feel free to listen to it the whole way through and see what's happening before you dive into it. It's a little process from Matrix Therapies, and it is an anxiety and stress eliminator. And I use this quite often when there is an event, an activity, an encounter, something that I know is giving me gripe. So I'd like you to think about what, when these things that we've just spoken about, when I've been asking you these questions about, if you're seeing yourself walking to a room, or what do you want to be known for, or if there are situations where you are finding that there is stress or anxiety in the process of taking up space, if you're comfortable, I'd like you to maybe mill on one of those questions as we go through this process. This is very gentle, not scary. None of this is supposed to be stressful. And if this does bring up any questions, or you'd like to explore any of this further, or you just want to know what the heck I'm talking about, please reach out. So we're going to get really chill. And I want you to kind of half close your eyes, have the pen and paper or your pencil and paper in front of you. You might want to scroll some of these things down. You might just want to keep it all in your head, whatever is going to be the easiest for you. You might want to say it out loud while you're watching this recording. So I want you to half close your eyes, and I want you to think of an activity, an event, or an encounter that brings on anxiety or stress when you think about taking up space. Where in your body do you feel that anxiety or that stress? Now, I want you to close your eyes and float above that event or activity or encounter that involves taking up space. And I want you to watch it run perfectly, exactly the way that you want it to be. Now go down, float down into the event, be present with it, and watch yourself again as you run through the process, the activity, the encounter, exactly the way that you want it to run perfectly. Now, I want you to follow that version of you that has just owned this event off to the side to a place that you can talk quietly out of the way. And I want you to ask your strong, incredible future self the following questions. What did you learn? What did you do? How did you prepare? What attitude do you have? What beliefs about yourself do you have? Were there any obstacles? What were they and how did you overcome them? What resources did you draw upon that allowed you to become so successful? Now we're going to have a beautiful moment where your future self transfers all of those resources that they've learned so that this activity or event or encounter where they took up space perfectly, unapologetically, we're going to have them transfer all those resources into you. I would like you to see an infinite source of love, light, healing, wisdom, and understanding pouring in through the top of your future self, filling them up, and pouring out of their heart into your present self through your heart. Now, I want you to associate and merge your future self and your present self together and replay that event again, looking through your own eyes. And when you're ready, come back to now only as quickly as you integrate all of those resources, experiences, and learnings into now. When you're thinking about this later, there's a few questions that you could ask yourself. How do you feel about that event, activity, or encounter that involved taking up space? How do you feel about it now? What's different now that you have all those resources? How does your body feel? That anxiety, is it still there? Is it different? Does it have a shape? Where is it sitting? What's the feeling in your body? And when you think about taking up space as an activity, an event, an encounter, when you think about the prospect of doing that, how is it different. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It has been a pleasure to record this for you.